Hi there, it's Alice Peel here. I am one of the co-founders of Grow Your Mind. I'm also an accredited New South Wales primary school teacher, and I wanted to give you a sneak peek into our evidence-based program that offers primary school teachers a way to embed wellbeing messages into every area of the curriculum. So I'm going to be taking you through what's behind each of these wonderful buttons and just to kind of see how we've really created something that busy teachers can use in an incredibly easy way to teach wellbeing both implicitly and explicitly. So you're going to be hearing me talk about bite-sized video lessons for all stages, student reflection journals, educational digital posters, wellbeing guidebooks, emotional check-ins, and loads more. So let's get started. If you are completely new to Grow Your Mind, you would, and your students would, click straight on here. And what you'd find behind this button is an introduction into the concept of the fact that we all have mental health. And so if we all have it, we can all look after it. And at Grow Your Mind, we do it through the basics of neuroscience. So our program is very much based on the latest research of positive psychology and neuroscience, as well as some key educational research as well. So I'll walk you through this. The students watch this animation. It's a story that can be repeated throughout time as well. And the keys to it are, it's not about necessarily promoting happiness, but it is about promoting flourishing in students. Now, if you have older students, they will be able to reflect on the questions within the animation around if they agree that everyone has mental health, how you might look after it, what you found interesting, what you currently do for your mental health as well. So that's all in there. So there's different stages for different ages. There's also a really comprehensive link to the curriculum, the New South Wales curriculum, the wellbeing framework for schools. We'll also be adding in here within the next week the Australian curriculum and key international curriculums too. If you're a teacher that's super busy and you just kind of want to get a quick grasp what it's all about, this document gives you what the main idea is, key questions, as well as the topics covered and the digital resources that it links to as well. Within here as well, you'll find the introductory lesson plans, again, which link to the Australian and New South Wales curriculum, character strength descriptions, teaching overview, so it'll give you key discussion questions and a manual. That's just if you are completely new to Grow Your Mind. But as I said as well, you can come back to that area anytime. If you're noticing that your students are forgetting those central messages around resilience and flourishing, come back here. Now, teachers, as I mentioned, are incredibly busy. So what we've created is a wellbeing resource that you could use in any area of the curriculum. You could also use it for as little as 5 minutes a day. And here is an example of that. These are weekly reflection questions that are divided into around 12 themes, ranging from gratitude to compassion to joy to mindfulness to sleep. And essentially with your students, it's Monday, you click on curiosity and you say, this is going to be our focus for the week. Everyone take a moment to reflect on this quote. I have no special talents. I am only passionately curious. Albert Einstein. How do you think being passionately curious may have helped Einstein achieve so much in his life? Now you might go, okay, we're going to focus on gratitude. And then you'll find Monday to Friday, daily questions around gratitude. Just really building those everyday ways to look after your mental health and well-being. Now, if you're after a more comprehensive curriculum approach to wellbeing as well, where you have a designated lesson, the podcast offers this opportunity. There are 7 episodes and it's completely children teaching other children about mental health, wellbeing and resilience. And the episodes range from 10 to 14 minutes in length. Now they're all here, but what is also here is a teacher guide to making the most of the podcast. So if you click on this document, again, it will give you the links behind the structure, the ethos behind the podcast, how it links to the curriculum as well, and how to get the most out of that experience with your students. Within that podcast section as well, you'll find reflection journals for different ages that really enrich the learning. And you'll also find links to the free colouring in sheets. If you have younger students and you just want to do colouring in while they listen, by all means do that. Something that we're incredibly proud of are the mini bite-sized lessons. They're video lessons. There's around 15 at the moment. We've been adding to these on a fortnightly basis, sometimes a weekly basis, sometimes a monthly basis. And the great thing about this is when you become a subscriber to our digital license, you can also email us directly and say, look, we'd really love something on respectful relationships, or something on adapting to change. And we can try, with the very best of intentions, to create a video lesson that links to the curriculum that has those reflection questions. So you'll come here and that'll have the age range for each video, and it will have the particular reflection questions as well as a mission. It'll also have all of our posters that are in physical format and now in digital format for the subscribers, and I'll have a lesson that goes with those posters as well to get the most out of that messaging too. So as you can see, there are loads in here. We've also got accredited teachers who create playful videos for younger students as well. So you can really just take a little choice about what you want to do, and your video and your lesson is done for you, which is the great thing. Again, busy teacher, here's a video lesson for you. The Guess Who series is something that we're really proud of as well. Essentially, it's a really evidence-based, exciting way to teach character strengths. Now, the evidence-based nature of it is we know from research that when children know more about their character strengths, they can use this to build resilience. So what we've tried to do, though, is because sometimes this topic can get a little dry, we've tried to really bring to life famous people, and famous people that continue to be of benefit. Now, these famous people all have something in common. They've all struggled or had a setback or a sadness, and they all have an overriding strength of hope, but they've got other strengths in there too that students learn about. So how it works is they watch the video lesson and they see this face be created out of Play-Doh, and they guess who the person is. We tell the story, and then we ask students to identify what their key character strengths are. Now, 10 of these will be available on YouTube for anyone to use, but as part of the digital subscription, there'll be close to 30 by the end of the year. So we're really excited about this. At the moment, there's 7, and we're really excited about growing that as much as possible. So that's the Guess Who series. There's our feeling cards. They're hugely popular, but I wanted to show you some other little key parts too, just so you can see how you might use it in an everyday way. Now, what we know is that students more than ever are going to need to really identify with their emotions and to seek help when they need to seek help. Now, a way to do this, if you think about the research from Dan Siegel, is name it to tame it. So really build a student's emotional literacy. This tool does that. So you can share this PowerPoint with them. Essentially, they come on and they go, okay, how am I feeling today? They might choose lonely. So it gets to lonely and they can choose to stay or shift. If they choose to stay, it just asks you to record that feeling, give it a colour. If they choose to shift, there's a few strategies that they might like to choose if they want to get away from that feeling. Now, it's important to highlight, though, that we're not about trying to say that some feelings are bad and some feelings are good. Rather, what we know is feelings can be comfortable and uncomfortable. And if a student feels like they've been stuck in a feeling too long, we just like to offer assistance for how they might be able to shift that particular mood. So that's the emotional check-in, and there are also teaching notes that go with that as well. So I made reference just before to a few of our physical resources that are usually in the kits. Now, obviously this is a digital subscription, and we really wanted to make all of those physical resources super visible and easy to use, and for teachers to be able to teach to them, whether they're doing wellbeing or perhaps they're doing maths or perhaps they're doing an English task. And so what we've done is created them so that you can enlarge them on your screen and you can teach to them and reference them as you're going along with your particular lessons. If you're doing a tricky task, you'll be able to identify where students are at on the tree with their fixed and their growth mindsets. So you might say, look, I'm hearing a lot of I can't do it. That's where we're going to get today in maths if we don't start changing the way that we're viewing the problem and the process of learning. So you can just have that displayed up there. Super simple. There's also, that's one of many posters. We've got a ton of them that we're super proud of. There's character strength poster, there's a dose poster, there's all the animal posters, there's take care of your mind poster. Again, you can be clicking on it and go, today guys, we're really focusing on doing something that brings you joy. And so you can enlarge that up for your students. So it's up there, we're doing joyful things today, or we're noticing when we feel joy today. Again, it's a few minutes, it doesn't have to take up an entire lesson, but it can if you like. So we've made options for both. It's really a blended approach to learning with flexible and set learning tasks throughout. We have feeling cards with games. We've got our popular resource, Flip to Flourish, which has around 60 invitations for your mental health. We've tried to make it even easier to use. We've got it in themes now, so you can say, okay, we need to focus on optimism. We're going to go to page 7, and it'll take you to that invitation. Now, here it's got the analogy of the shark and dolphin thinking, of optimism and pessimism. It'll give you a script of what you can say with your students, as well as activities that you can do in class during that time. So as I mentioned, there are around 60 or so invitations there. All of it has research and links to research on our website too. If you get lost, you can come back to our playful instruction manual. You can enlarge this. It'll introduce you to who the flower character is. We're also super excited about the teacher wellbeing section, because basically there is no student wellbeing without teacher wellbeing. We have a NESA accredited face-to-face delivery course. This is a snapshot of that course. It'll take you through ways to fill your cup, as well as a 20-minute presentation on teacher wellbeing and joy, and invitations. There's a value task. There's also a print out gratitude and appreciation page, where you can really encourage staff to notice other staff that are trying hard. And then we'll continually add interesting clips on wellbeing and mental health in general. So that's the teacher wellbeing section that you can kind of dip into and call on. We've also got project ideas. So this one's a great one in terms of if you've been running the program for a number of years and you're looking for ways to really keep it fresh. So guys, I cannot encourage you more to make this decision to invest in the emotional wellbeing of your students, but also to really protect and nurture the wellbeing of teachers. So if you're a teacher, you can get an individual license, or as a whole school, you can get a license, which we really encourage, because we know with wellbeing it needs to be a whole school approach. That's the best practice model. If you have any other questions about our pedagogy or other research questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch with Alice at growyourmind.life. Thanks very much.